The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube. And on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you can post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not, and where you can subscribe to my Twitter feed, twitter.com/Gary Baumgarten. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show. Well, in case you didn't hear the breaking news, Bill Clinton, the former president of the United States, went to North Korea today. He met with President Kim himself and walked away with a pardon for the two U.S. journalists who have been convicted of spying and who were sentenced to 8 years hard labor. A round of applause for the former president of the United States. Let's hope that the three hikers who were nabbed by the Iranians will also be released soon by them as well. I wrote what I thought to be a fairly interesting piece this morning on the blog about how we are so much different than are they. In the United States, illegal immigrants come in, and the worst that can happen, and this is the worst, is that they get detained for deportation back to their own country. Many of them, as we know, do not ever get detained, and they live here illegally and enjoy the benefits of being in the United States while having not entered the country legally. These guys throw people who stray across their borders inadvertently into prison for long periods of time at hard labor. That's the difference between them and us. The other story, and this also involves Iran, it has to do with Iran's nuclear capability. You know, we keep hearing conflicting intelligence reports about Iran's nuclear aspirations, but there's no nation that has a more vested interest in getting it right than the Israelis for obvious reasons. I mean, you know, the current regime has repeatedly stated its desire to wipe Israel off of the map. And Israel's military intelligence chief is saying that Iran will have nuclear capability by year's end. Now, I believe the German intel agency says exactly the same thing. You know, I have been frustrated that at this time of crisis involving Iran, where they are cracking down on the freedom-loving people of Iran by shooting them, by beating them, by putting them in jail, by holding them incommunicado, that pressure should be brought on them to put an end to the human rights violations there, and pressure should be put on them to stop their nuclear program. Because I have no confidence that a nuclear program there will be used for peaceful purposes. And the demeanor of the regime post-election, so-called there, does nothing to instill confidence in anybody who's observing the situation, either casually or through the lens of an expert, that they will, if allowed to develop nuclear energy, use it just for power and not for weapons capabilities. I agree with the President of the United States when he says a nuclear-armed Iran is a threat to all of the Arab states of the Middle East. And obviously it is a threat to the Israelis. And if they continue down this path, they are creating for themselves a big bullseye, because ultimately the Israelis are not going to allow, in my opinion, this situation to get so far out of hand that these loony kazoonies that are running the government there will be permitted to obliterate Israel. ultimately, no matter what the United States says, no matter what the European Union says, no matter what the Arab League says, no matter what the United Nations says, Israel will do what's in Israel's best interests and take out, in my opinion, the nuclear facilities in Iran. As well they should, to protect themselves. And that's not a good thing for the Iranian people either. So once again, the regime is not thinking of its own people, it's only thinking of itself. A very, very serious situation. And I know that there have been threat assessments that would suggest that they're not that close, but you know what? Just to reiterate, no nation has a more vested interest in getting it right than the Israelis. And the Israelis say before the end of the year, Iran will have nuclear capability. Whether they choose to utilize it is another thing, but they will have the capability by the end of the year. Bahani in California. Bahani, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Thank you so very much, Gary. It's not very good news, and hello everybody. And I want to thank all my fellow Iranians that they care about the country and they are here today. And please send more invitation and ask all the friends to come in and listen to this matter of today, which is very important. A lot of shameless people, including Ahmadinejad, said never been threatened Israel, that as soon as they enrich the weapon, nuke, they're gonna wipe Israel from world map. Today is the day for the whole world to pay more attention. Gary, long time ago, we asked the whole world, all the friends in this country, that they have to bring pressure, every single person in their country, bring pressure to your country that stop Iran from all this violent and human rights. Nobody heard. And now now it's coming to the point that it's a big threat, not only our own people and our own nation, the whole nations. And you know very well, and you covered all these past 4 or 5 weeks, we screamed and we asked United Nations, we asked all the peaceful nations to help us, to pay more attention what Iran is doing and what is going on in Iran. Hundreds of innocent people, day before yesterday, they were in a trial. And you think that we have to sit here and believe whatever Ahmadinejad or Iranian extremist leaders said about nuke? We had this conversation long before, and I remember I mentioned I do not trust, I do not believe Iranian government and leaders. And there are shameless Hezbollahs in this room. They're gonna get in a mic, they're gonna defend Iran, and we are sick and tired of this, and nobody really pay attention. They are killing our young generation is fighting